Before you pick up that eyeliner pencil today, stop. There's one thing most women over 60 are doing with their eyeliner that's literally pulling their eyes downward, and they have no idea it's happening. Here's what's going to surprise you. It's not the color. It's not an unsteady hand. And it's definitely not your age working against you. It's something so small and automatic you've probably been doing it for decades without ever questioning it. By the time this video is over, you're going to look back at every eye look you've ever done and think, that was it the whole time. But mistake number 4 is the one nobody talks about, and it might be the main reason your eyes have been looking more tired and droopy than they actually are. We'll get there. Stay with me. This one's worth it. Welcome to Timeless Tresses, where we look better with less effort, not more. If that's your kind of channel, hit subscribe. Let's get into it. Think about the last time you did your eyeliner and looked in the mirror and thought, something feels off, but I can't quite put my finger on it. That feeling isn't random. It has a reason. And today we're naming all 7 of them, because eyeliner done right for mature eyes can lift your entire face, open your eyes up, and make you look more awake than you have in years. But when even 1 or 2 of these mistakes sneak in, the opposite happens. Eyes start to look smaller, heavier, and droopy. So let's fix that today, one mistake at a time. Mistake 1. Lining your entire eye all the way around. This is the big one, and so many of us have been doing it since the 1970s, so it feels completely natural. I understand the appeal. A full ring of liner has always read as finished, as the way a proper eye look is supposed to look. Nobody ever told you the shape itself was the problem. Here's the mechanism. Lining top and bottom all the way around creates a closed shape around your eye. On a mature eye, where the lid has naturally lowered a little over time, a closed shape reads as small and heavy. It pulls everything down and inward. Think of drawing a circle around something you want people to notice. The circle doesn't make it stand out, it traps it. That's exactly what a full ring of eyeliner does to your eye, no matter how carefully it's drawn. The fix is simple. Keep your upper lash line lined if you love that definition. But on your lower lash line, line only the outer 2/3 and stop there. This one small change alone makes eyes look more open, more lifted, and noticeably more awake. Do it today. On your very next application, simply lift the pencil 2/3 of the way across your lower lash line instead of continuing all the way to the inner corner, and watch your whole eye open up in the mirror right in front of you. Mistake 2. Using a thick line on the upper lid. This one's a little personal, because so many of us grew up loving a bold liner moment. I get the nostalgia. A thick line felt glamorous for decades, and there's nothing wrong with that energy on its own. What changes is the canvas underneath it, not your taste. Here's the mechanism. The space between your lash line and your brow naturally shrinks as we age, and the lid lowers just slightly. A thick line eats into the very little lid space you have left, and the result is an eye that reads smaller, heavier, and droopier. The exact opposite of the bold, awake look the thick line was supposed to create. The fix is going thinner than you think you need to. A fine, precise line right at the lash line, not above it, not thick, just clean and close to the lashes. That gives you all the definition with none of the added weight. If you love a little drama, add it at the outer corner only, with a slight flick outward, never downward. Do it today. Swap your usual thick pencil stroke for a single thin, precise pass, and add intensity only at the outer corner if you want more drama without more weight. That direction at the outer corner matters more than you'd think. And it's exactly the mistake that does the most damage of anything on this entire list. Mistake 3. Pulling the line downward at the outer corner. This is the mistake that does the most damage and gets talked about the least. I understand the instinct completely. When you line the outer corner, it feels natural to follow the eye's own curve as it dips downward. It feels like you're just following what's already there, not fighting it. Here's the mechanism. That downward curve at the outer corner is exactly what creates the droopy, sad eye look so many women are trying to avoid. Your eye already has a natural downward pull at the outer corner as you age. Drawing your liner along that same downward path doubles the effect. You're literally underlining the droop instead of correcting it. The fix is to redirect. When you reach the outer corner, instead of following the eye down, lift the line slightly, just a whisper of an upward or horizontal flick. It doesn't need to look like a dramatic cat eye. It just needs to go slightly up instead of slightly down. Do it today. Try the same liner, the same amount of product, just angled a few degrees upward at the very end instead of down, and compare the two sides in the mirror before you commit to one. And now, the mistake I promised you at the very beginning. Mistake 4. Lining your waterline with dark color. Here it is, the one nobody talks about nearly enough. I understand exactly why this one persists. The beauty world told us for years to line the waterline dark, to smudge black or brown right on that inner rim for a smoky, defined look. On a younger eye with a lot of visible white space, it genuinely can look beautiful, and old habits built on real results are hard to question. Here's the mechanism, and it's worth sitting with. Your waterline is that little inner rim along the edge of your lower eyelid. On a mature eye, lining it dark visually shrinks the eye, making it look more closed and more tired. And because it adds heaviness right at the lower lid, it actually emphasizes any puffiness or dropping that's already there, instead of disguising it. The fix is doing the complete opposite. Use a nude or ivory pencil on the waterline instead. A creamy, light-colored pencil on that inner rim makes eyes look larger, brighter, and instantly more rested. Do it today. This is the one to try immediately, this morning. Swap whatever's on your waterline right now for a nude pencil, and notice how immediate the difference is. This is the kind of tip where you'll wonder why nobody told you sooner. We still have 3 more mistakes to uncover, and each one changes something you'd never think to question. Mistake 5. Using the wrong formula for your eye. Not all eyeliners are created equal, and the formula matters just as much as the technique behind it. I understand why liquid liner is tempting. It promises precision and a clean line, and for years that's exactly what good eyeliner meant to most of us. Nobody warns you that the formula that worked at 30 stops working the same way later. Here's the mechanism. On mature eyes with lids that have softened and gained more texture, liquid liner tends to settle into fine lines and skip across uneven areas, reading as patchy and crooked no matter how steady your hand is. On the other end, a very soft, creamy pencil smudges and migrates. Within an hour, it's traveled below your eye, creating the exact tired, droopy look you were trying to avoid in the first place. The fix is a retractable pencil or fine felt tip pen that's firm but not stiff, something that glides without skipping and stays without smudging. Look for long wear, waterproof, or smudge resistant on the label. Those words aren't marketing fluff here, they're describing exactly the property you need. Do it today. If your current liner has ever migrated by midday, that's your sign to switch formulas before you change anything else about your technique. Your liner should look as good at 6 in the evening as it did at 9 in the morning. Mistake 6. Quick one. Skipping the lash line gap. This one's subtle but powerful, and it's fast to explain. A lot of women apply liner just above the lash line instead of right at it, leaving a small gap that makes lashes look sparse and the liner look like it's floating on the lid. The fix. Press liner as close to the base of the lashes as possible, so liner and lash become one seamless line rather than 2 separate things. If that feels tricky, try tight lining. Lining the upper waterline itself so the lash base looks dense without any visible liner sitting on the lid. It's the most natural, most lifted-looking technique for mature eyes, and once you try it, you'll be amazed how defined your eyes look with almost no visible effort at all. Mistake 7. Using only one color for the entire eye. The last mistake keeps an eye look feeling flat and one-dimensional. I understand the instinct to keep things simple. One color, one intensity, done. It feels efficient. It's also exactly what removes all the depth that makes an eye look alive. Here's the mechanism. Lining the entire eye with the same color and intensity from inner to outer corner removes all variation, and without variation, the eye reads as one solid closed shape instead of something open and expressive, which, on a mature eye, tends to read as heavy rather than defined. The fix is thinking in zones. Keep the inner corner very light, or skip liner there entirely. Standard intensity through the middle of the lash line. Deeper color or more definition only at the outer corner. You can play with color too. A warm brown on the inner half and a deeper brown or charcoal on the outer half creates a gradient that adds dimension without extra effort or extra time. Do it today. On your next application, simply lighten your inner corner and deepen your outer corner using the same pencil you already own. No new products required, just a different distribution of the one you have. Putting it together. a simple routine that uses all 7 fixes. Now that you've seen all 7 individually, here's how they actually stack together into one simple routine you can do in under 3 minutes tomorrow morning. Start with your waterline, since it sets the foundation for everything else. Nude or ivory pencil, right on that inner rim, before anything else touches the eye. Next, tightline your upper waterline if you want lash density without visible liner sitting on the lid. Then move to your actual upper lash line with a thin, precise line using a firm pencil or felt tip formula, keeping the inner corner light and building only slightly more depth as you move outward. When you reach the outer corner, redirect upward instead of following the eye's natural downward curve. Finally, if you want lower lash definition, line only the outer 2/3 of your lower lash line, stopping well before the inner corner. Notice what that sequence does. Every single fix from today reinforces the next one instead of competing with it. That's really the whole secret to a lifted, awake eye at this stage of life. It was never about buying a new product or mastering some complicated technique. It's about the order and direction of a few small, deliberate choices. A note on tools, because the right pencil makes all of this easier. One thing worth mentioning before we wrap up. A slightly warmed pencil glides far more smoothly and evenly than a cold one straight out of a drawer. Rolling the tip gently between your palms for a few seconds before you start softens the product just enough to prevent tugging on delicate lid skin, which matters more at this stage of life than it used to. And keep your pencil sharpened to a rounded, not needle-sharp point. A rounded tip is both more comfortable near the eye and far more forgiving if your hand isn't perfectly steady that particular morning. These are 2-second habits, but they make every single fix on this list noticeably easier to execute well. How these fixes shift depending on your eye shape. Every eye is a little different, so here's how to adjust these 7 fixes depending on what you're working with. If you have hooded eyes, meaning the crease disappears when your eyes are open, mistakes 1 and 2 matter more than any others on this list. Any extra thickness or a closed ring of liner will get swallowed by the fold of skin the moment your eyes are open, so staying thin and stopping 2/3 across the lower lash line isn't optional here. It's the difference between liner that's visible at all and liner that disappears within an hour. If you have downturned eyes, where the outer corners naturally point toward your cheeks rather than up toward your temples, mistake 3 deserves extra attention. The upward redirect at the outer corner isn't a small suggestion for you specifically. It's the single fix that will change your whole eye shape's first impression more than anything else on this list. If you have smaller eyes, mistake 4, the waterline swap to nude or ivory, will likely be the most dramatic single change you make today, because a dark waterline has an outsized shrinking effect on an eye that's already more compact to begin with. And if you have prominent, rounder eyes, you likely have more room to play with the thicker line in mistake 2, or a fuller color story in mistake 7, since you're working with more visible lid space than most. The rules still apply, but you have a little more room inside them. How you take it off matters too. One last piece almost nobody mentions in these conversations, and it affects everything we just covered. How you remove your eyeliner at night has a direct effect on how easily and evenly it applies the next morning. Aggressive rubbing to get rid of stubborn liner, especially a waterproof formula, pulls on the same delicate skin we've been talking about protecting all video. Over time, that repeated tugging can contribute to the very lid lowering and texture changes that make some of these 7 mistakes so much more noticeable in the first place. A gentle, oil-based remover on a soft pad, pressed and held for a few seconds rather than scrubbed back and forth, dissolves even long-wear formulas without any pulling at all. This matters for tomorrow's application too. Residual product left along the lash line or waterline from an incomplete removal the night before is one of the most common, least talked about reasons a fresh line of liner suddenly looks patchy or refuses to sit evenly, even when your technique hasn't changed at all. A clean canvas each morning makes every single fix in this video easier to execute well. So there you have it. 7 eyeliner mistakes working against your eyes without you ever realizing it. Notice something. Not one of these fixes cost a single extra dollar, and not one required a new product. Every single one is a small shift in how you apply what you already own. That's the real principle behind this whole list. Doing more with less, and looking better with less effort, not more. It's the same philosophy behind everything we cover on this channel, and it applies just as much to eyeliner as it does to anything else in your routine. Every one of these has an easy fix, and the difference in how your eyes read, awake, lifted, open, is real. You've earned the right to look in the mirror and feel confident with the exact tools already sitting in your makeup bag, without spending another dollar to get there. I want you to notice something about everything we covered today. Not one of these 7 fixes asked you to change who you are or how you want to look. Nobody's asking you to give up eyeliner, or to stop loving definition, or to play it safe and disappear into natural, just because a few technical habits needed updating. The line is still yours. The drama, if you want it, is still yours. We simply redirected a few small choices so that the effort you're already putting in actually lands the way you intend it to, instead of quietly working against you every morning without your permission. That's really what this whole channel comes back to, week after week. Not doing less, not disappearing, not following some outdated rulebook about what women our age are supposed to wear or avoid. It's about understanding exactly why something works or doesn't, so you can make the choice on purpose instead of by accident. Once you know the reason behind a fix, you stop needing to memorize a list. You start being able to look at any eye look, on anyone, and immediately understand what's making it work. If this helped you rethink your eyeliner routine, hit like and subscribe. I've got a lot more of this coming every week, all built around that same idea of small, informed choices instead of big expensive overhauls. And tell me in the comments, which of these 7 surprised you the most? Was it the waterline tip, the direction at the outer corner, or something else entirely? I read every single one, and I genuinely love hearing which of these lands the hardest for different women.